Good morning, you guys. Good morning, and happy Memorial Day. I hope everybody's having an amazing Memorial Day. We are here to talk about this boy right here, The Dixon Rule by Elle. What is the name of this series? It is book 2. The first book was called The Graham Effect. She's calling this one Campus Diaries. So she has multiple series. They are pretty much all hockey based. I've read all of Briar U and all of Off Campus series by her. Have not read Prep. It looks like that's the other one with Misfit and Rogue in it. I have not read that, but I have read a couple of her one-offs as well, like Girl Abroad. But this is book 2 in the Campus Diary series. The first book is called The Graham Effect. It does tie into, which series is it? I believe it's Off Campus. Yes, it does tie into Off Campus, which is The Deal, The Mistake, The Score, The Goal, and The Legacy. Like a month or so ago, I read through that whole series, if you remember. So this is the second book. I say it ties in because it does briefly talk. I definitely would not read this one without reading Graham Effect. You need to know who these characters are. But if you have not read the Off Campus series, you're probably still fine. Because I read the Graham Effect before I read the Off Campus series. I didn't know that they were so closely tied. And essentially just the main character in the Graham Effect, Gigi Graham, is the child of the main character in The Chase. Or is it The Deal? I think it's The Deal. The Deal. So the main character in The Graham Effect, Gigi, is the child of the two main characters of The Deal. So that's where the tie-in is. I went back and read all of the off-campus series after I read The Graham Effect, and now I'm reading this. Does it have to happen like that? Not necessarily. You don't have to read all of Off Campus in order to enjoy this series, but I do recommend at least reading The Graham Effect before you read The Dixon Rule. Whew, that was a long spiel. But the Elle Kennedy world is very intense. It is very deep. It is a lot of books. So it needed to be a long spiel. I digress. The Dixon Rule has to deal with Diana Dixon, who is your main female character, and Shane. Shane plays on the Briar hockey team with the main character from The Graham Effect, Ryder. I feel like his name is Ryder. And it's Ryder, something like that. Gigi's husband. Because at the end of The Graham Effect, they go ahead and they get married, right? So it is now Gigi's husband by the time this book comes out. Now, Diana is a cheerleader. And if you remember, Shane, a.k.a. Gigi's husband's best friend, has a problem with cheerleaders. He is going through a heartbreak, and he cannot keep his peen out of cheerleaders' veins. Like, he just can't. He's helping him heal something inside of him. Don't give him hate, okay? It is healing his inner hurt and turmoil. Diana is the captain of the cheer squad. She's got a problem with that. She's like, look, you're messing my cheerleaders up in the head because you are one night standing them and making promises that you aren't keeping. No, this has got to stop. So Shane purchases the apartment next to hers because what does a sane person do? In Shane's defense, his parents purchased that apartment as a rental unit, if you would, after he gets done graduating from school. It is very closely located to Briar U, and it will be a financial benefit to his parents in 2 years when he is done with school. I think it's 2 years until they graduate. So, I digress. It wasn't that creeper of him, but it was a little funny that, like, of all the apartments his parents could have bought, they bought the one conjoined with the girl who hates him. And chaos does ensue, as it does. They argue and bicker and bitch at each other for 20 or so chapters, and then they have a need for each other. It's enemies to lovers, of course. All of a sudden, his ex, Shane's ex, whom is the one who gave him that big heartbreak, shows back up. And she's going to go to Briar. She's transferring schools. And Diana's dance partner has bailed on her for the ballroom dance competition. And now they have a need to pretend to be dating, as well as be real dance partners. And of course they fall in love, because why wouldn't they, right? This is Elle Kennedy. This is rom-com. Why wouldn't they fall in love? They do. It's spicy. It's comical. It's everything that Elle Kennedy does so well. It was a cute book. It does... This back boy right here will rip your heart out. It will. Because Shane's father is one of the characters that you meet in the Off-Campus series. He is a side character in the Off-Campus series. I do not know if he has his own book in one of the other series, but I do know that he is a side character in the Off-Campus series. And, spoiler alert, if you don't like spoilers and you just want to know if this book was good or not, I gave it 5 stars. Not 5+, but 5. And it was a solid Elle Kennedy novel. Did I like it more than The Graham Effect? No. It didn't have quite as much comedy as I would have liked to see, because The Graham Effect was fucking hilarious. Like, there were laughing till I peed my pants moments. Like, porn addiction and you... Come on. It was hilarious, The Graham Effect was. This was not quite that funny. It was more healing traumas and dealing with daily life type stuff. And then, of course, like I said, this back section right here, this back 50, 75 pages, Shane's dad, spoiler alert, does pass away. The side character from Off-Campus. And it's very, very sad, because it's very sudden for Shane. He's been sick for a while, but he didn't want anybody to know because they knew it was incurable. And Shane's mother and him didn't want to tell the children because they didn't want their last memories, last holidays with him to be bad or sad. So they didn't tell him until it was like last days. And it was very sad because it was very sudden for Shane, and he had a really hard time wrapping his head around it. I've seen some TikToks dealing with loss recently that really have been hitting me in the soul. So this book, those last 50 to 100 pages, they're going to rip your heart out, curb stomp it across the yard. That's what they're going to do. But it's still a really, really good book. I liked the rom-com. I liked the spice aspect. Do I wish it was a little heavier on the calm? Sure. The Graham Effect was really great about that. Graham Effect was a 5-star plus from me. This was just a 5-star, and I think because it was just missing a couple more really well-placed jokes or inside jokes, it was just missing that a smidgen. It relied a little too heavily on the bitching and arguing back and forth between Diana and Shane, which I understand that's the relationship that they have, but I would have liked a little bit more comedic value. That was just me. But alas, it was still a 5-star read. It was still good. I still flew through it in like 2 days. That's what you do with an Elle Kennedy book. You read it in like 2 days and you move on to the next one. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to make you think, this one actually might, because of the death of Shane's father and the way that all goes down and the decisions that are made in that way. It might make you think about some things a little bit, but it's not going to alter your life. I don't read a lot of life-altering books anymore. I used to be way more into books that made you think and historical romances that were really deep. I used to be way more into that kind of thing. But now they just leave me feeling sad and depressed, and I would much rather hee hee ha ha and kick my feet over a hockey romance. I am reading Shadow Crown. I am not going to lie to you guys. This is book 2 in the Halfling Saga. Can I pick it up? Okay. It's book 2 in the Halfling Saga. It's a little slow. It's a little slow. I don't want it to be. I obsessed with the first book, The Broken Blade, or A Broken Blade. So good. I'm giving the Shadow Crown more time because I need it to be just as good as A Broken Blade. It's also been like a year since I read A Broken Blade, and I honestly was hesitant to even start a Shadow Crown without rereading A Broken Blade, but I did it anyways, and now I'm 110 pages in, and I feel committed, but it is a little bit of like, ooh, this is dragging. I'm going to finish it, though, because I owe it to A Broken Blade. It was so good. That is my review of the Dixon Rule, though. I gave it 5 stars. Wasn't quite as good as The Graham Effect, but still really good. And everything that you expect from an Elle Kennedy novel. I am going on a trip this weekend, so you guys will get a video on Wednesday. That is everything that I read in basically 24 hours in a car. And let's see what all I can get through. Hopefully, I will be finishing a Shadow Crown in that car. Because if I don't, that means I DNF'd it, and I'll be real sad. Real sad. But yeah, love you guys so much. I'll see you on the flip side of this trip. And thanks for liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that goodness. And yeah, I'll see you then.